Welcome to the CFL Outsider, a few minutes
Whoa,
up.
whoa, wait. You can't say that.
Why?
It'll be longer than 3 minutes.
What?
You said a few minutes. A couple is 2, a few is 3, some is 4, more is 5. You can't say few. It's inaccurate.
Welcome to the CFL Outsider, a short series of totally impartial hot takes, odd takes, and generally unconventional opinions on the CFL and Canadian football, with your host and presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds.
Hey kids, welcome to the inaugural episode of the CFL Outsider with your completely impartial, 100% unbiased presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds. That's me. If you're here looking for sort of your traditional CFL type podcast or football fan cast where they give you game predictions and recaps and things like, gambling advice, fantasy advice, sports news, all those stuff, that's not here. You're at the wrong place because there's already lots of people doing that and doing it really well. I can recommend a few if you're looking for it. There's Justin Snowflake and Jumbo Cheese over at the 3 Down Nation podcast. There's Travis and Sheldon at the 2 and Out CFL podcast. Another good job with Ryan, Mike, Adam, and Trey at the Canadian Football Countdown. They're very good with gambling and fantasy type advice. Donovan and Enoch at the flagship, the League and the Waggle. They do an odd couple vibe that's a lot of fun. And finally, there's Oz and Joe down in the States with the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. And it's interesting to get their American perspective on it. I enjoy the show, although I do believe they should adopt the old BBC rule, because when they're done talking about the Alouettes and the Blue Bombers, they should have to say, other teams are available. Anyway, what this is it's a forum for all the thoughts and observations I have sitting there watching the football that never seems to make it into anybody else's commentary. Things I wonder about, I thought maybe others will. So I'll put it out there. If you enjoy it, great. If not, well, no harm done. So let's get started with, we're halfway through the training camps. The off season's all over, preseason's over. We've learned a few things. I learned that the Argos upper management is basically the proverbial mule. You gotta whack them over the head with a 2x4 a few times before they wisen up and move in the direction everyone knew they should be going in the first place. Don't worry, no mules were harmed in the making of that metaphor. Hot take number 1, not for this year but for next year, 2025. Please welcome your starting quarterback, Trey Ford, and your Toronto Argos. Why? Well, Jones and the Elks seem to have treated him like crap. Everyone's saying now, he's happy, he's got MBT to mentor him, everything's going really well. I don't know. I think those snubs and stuff, the only respect he seems to get is when the fans force it on the team. So I don't know that he's going to be happy with them. I believe its contract is up at the end of this year. And does anyone really think that Chad's going to hold it together and meet the conditions for reinstatement? I'm leery. So who knows? We'll see. Hot take. Let's see. Who else? Bo Levi Mitchell. Big year for him. Big year for Bo Levi. He's supposed to regain his top form. Be what he was back in the past. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I don't know. I wish you luck, Bo. I really do. The league's better when you're on form. But it's also true that it's really been 5 years since you've been able to perform at a level of a simple any starting CFL quarterback, not one of the elite ones, So it's doubtful. I will give you full credit though, and I'm not feeling sorry for you, because over those 5 years you've kept making prime money, top money for a top league quarterback. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing just from what was reported, probably you're brought in north of $2 million over the last 5 years. Not bad for a noodle arm and bones made of spun sugar. Hey, and what about Edmonton Elks fans? You just can't please them. I know they've had a rough time these last few years, but the team goes out and gets a brand new shiny returner to do the punts and the kickoffs and make it good. They get Javon Leake out of the Argonauts, who took back, what was it, 2, 3, maybe even 4 to the house last year. His first chance to return a punt goes in for a touchdown, and they're still not happy. Wild speculation for you. This is back to the whole Chad incident thing. I remember seeing a feature about AJ Ouellette and his wife, and I believe she is a strength and conditioning coach for a professional team. I think Major League Baseball was it. That tells me that I think that maybe AJ had a very unique take on the whole incident, and that might have had something to do with the fact that he's not wanting to be playing beside somebody this year, and he's now somewhere else. Regardless, I was going to say irregardless, just to piss off the people, because I know it does, but I won't. Regardless, he's moved on. He's with the Riders now, and the Rider fans are overjoyed to have him. However it worked out. Now, when we stick with the Riders, we've had a major sea change there this year. First time in decades that I've seen this. After decades and decades of the backup quarterback being the fan favorite player, this year that's all changed. The new fan favorite is last year's fourth stringer. Go figure. Now, as a follow-up to that note, for those of you who are calling for Mason Fine to go, I get it. I understand. I hear the arguments, and I'm not great at evaluating quarterbacks, so I don't know. But for those of you who are calling for him to go, please stop with the fine puns. Mason is just fine, but that's not good enough. You need to be better than fine to make this team. It's bad look. 2 reasons. One, Mason's put in 4 years of hard work trying to make the Riders a better team, and he should get credit for it. Even Coach Mace says that when he releases somebody, if they've done hard work, he thanks them for it, and I believe that Mason's in that spot. And secondly, come on, you're demeaning yourself. It's too easy. It's like taking the layup. It's just, why? If you're going to use it, if you're going to try and call for his ouster, at least be creative. Something like, Mason's probably going to have to use that secret handshake if he wants to keep his job. Be creative. Challenge yourself. Also, though, along those lines, wild speculation is more what this is. Yeah. I'm wondering if at the end of the training camp, when the cuts have to be made on cut down day, if Mason and Shea are just neck and neck, 50-50, nothing to tell them apart. Is there a chance that maybe J.O. and Coach Mace will keep Mason just to send a message to the fans? Thank you. We love your enthusiasm. We like that you're here and cheering us on, but we don't know what we're doing, and we'll make the decisions if you don't mind. Also, tangentially to that, there was a lot of Rider fans letting their ire be known back at the free agency period when the Riders kept Fine and let Dolagala go, be picked up in BC. That was the wrong choice, and people were yelling about it. I'm kind of wondering now if after BC's first preseason game, there's not a lot of fans in Saskatchewan sort of muttering quietly, well, never mind. Anyway, but on the upside, are we not truly in the golden age of Canadian receivers? It's amazing. There was a time when some teams would just hide a guy, their 7th Canadian, out there on the field wide out, run all nines, and then we'll do our stuff over here. That doesn't happen anymore. Today's offense is so much movement, so much changing position, so much that's just so complicated. Everyone has to be involved and perform. Every starting Canadian in this league can do that. I mean, there's kind of like a two-tier level. There's some that are not quite at the top tier, and then there's some that are amazing. But even those second level ones, they don't look out of place. Play a receiver in this league. It's a great time. And that top tier, I mean, think about it. You've got Phil Pott and Julian Grant in Montreal. You've got Dembski in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan's Emelis and Schaefer Baker, Kittens Jr. in Edmonton, and out in BC, Katoy and McGinnis. These are all top level receivers. You know, they're as good as it gets. And then on top of that, there's another half a dozen more scattered across the league. Calgary, Toronto, one or two on other teams that are set, could easily have a breakout year and add to those numbers. And then there's also a fantastic looking draft class that's come up and will be developed in 2-3 years now. We'll be able to step in at that high level of play when we inevitably lose some of the better ones to down south. It is absolutely the golden age of Canadian receivers. And just as an aside, I actually wanted to name our new pup Schaefen-Bake because she's a golden retriever, but you know. But the goddess nixed that idea, so that's not happening. Anyway, serious FaceTime, yes. Serious FaceTime, because this one matters. This is actually a point I do care about. The league's discipline and appeal process. It's fine for your everyday offenses. You know, people just crossing the line a little bit here and there. And you get a suspension, fine, whatever. But it's shown over the last 3 years, it's woefully inadequate for dealing with the major problems, the things that can leave a stain on the league's reputation. You know, I'm talking about we had intent to injure a quarterback. We had just completely ignoring sexual harassment policies and gambling. And under the current policy, if those players had appealed, they could all still be playing. Luckily, so far, only Sean Lemon has appealed, and it's not a good look having a gambler on an active roster. But how much egg in your face would the league have had if Garrett Marino had gone out the next game and hit somebody other quarterback exactly the same way? Or if Chad Kelly had appealed and was out there playing when everybody knows it's the wrong thing to do? Don't think you can leave it up to the chance the players will do the right thing. I think that the league and the Players Association needs to get together. They need to redo this policy, and if it's a serious offense, something that warrants, say, 4 games or more on a suspension, the suspension holds, regardless of appeal or not. You sit until the suspension is over or until the appeal finds you exonerated and you're reinstated. I think that's got to happen. On a less serious note, numbers. I'm just amazed at how much people care about numbers. He shouldn't wear that number. He should wear this number. To me, that was always I'm eligible or ineligible. You know, I do it from there. But I get it. Other people like things. And it's been coming up in this preseason a lot because when someone with an unconventional number, say something in the 70s or up over 100 or whatever, makes a play, some commentator automatically says, well, if he makes the team, they'll get him a real number. I got a different take on that. I think this applies to anybody who's in that situation right now. But I'm going to address it specifically to the Saskatchewan Roughriders rookie, Mr. Ajo. You are an incredible talent from what I've seen on the screen. You look like you've got all the tools it'll take. I really hope that you get the coaching and that you are able to take it in and just learn from it and grow and maximize what your potential is, because you could be doing some fantastic stuff here. We'd enjoy you for a few years making fantastic plays, and then the NFL would come calling. I mean, I know that's can happen. It's all on you. If you get the right chances and you decide to take it, it's there. So my advice to you though is when you make the team, oh please, 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 when you make the team and they come to you and they say, okay, what do you want for your real number now? If I were you, I would say 75. You gave it to me. You said that this is my number. I'm training camp fodder. I was drafted late. You didn't expect, nobody expected out of me what they should have expected out of me. I know how good I am, and I haven't got that respect and expectations yet. So I'm going to earn it, and I'm going to keep this number, this 75, and I'm going to wear it every day, and it's going to remind me of what people thought at the start and how badly I'm making them look now. And it's going to be me. 75 and a Joe will be synonymous. When I leave this league, there are going to be young receivers walking up wanting to wear number 75. That's my number. Take it, use every little bit that you got to make yourself, to push yourself and go. So tune it back down a bit there. That's the old coach and me coming out with the motivation. Let's turn it down a bit. Let's talk about Hamilton, or well, more specifically, just sort of this preseason in general. The games that are being put on the CFL Plus. They're doing a good job. If you're not watching them, you probably should. I know it's only preseason, but there's some fun football going on. They use the cameras from in the stadium, which isn't quite TSN quality, but it's pretty good. It's fully adequate. And then they use the local broadcasters for the thing. So I get to hear, or you get to hear, local broadcast teams of radio people that you wouldn't hear normally. And I noticed in the Hamilton game, man, is that a fan base and stuff that is got serious PTSD after what they went through the last couple of years. Whew. Every time a tiger cat would slip, whether a tiny little bit or a huge amount, would make a terrible mistake. The same thing. Oh, that's the preseason. You got to expect that. Don't worry, everything's fine. That's just the preseason. And an underlying message of, oh, please be good. Please don't be bad again this year. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to joke at Edmonton's expense, but that's the vibe I got. Oh. And I will say this. Well, first of all, let me tell you, there was a story I heard once, probably very tongue-in-cheek, about the Vikings invading Dublin 1,000 years ago and the effect that still has on the current population. So, why did I say that? Well, because when they panned through the crowd in Hamilton on Saturday, I had two thoughts that came into my mind. First was, that's a pretty good crowd for a preseason game. They should be happy with that. And second was, I wonder if the Vikings ever made it to Hamilton. Sorry, obscure reference. Those that understand it will get a chuckle. Let's see. Oh, something else. Something else that I picked up. I believe this is not really football, but it's technology. But I believe that a lot of people putting out the videos on YouTube and whatnot are starting to use AI for their closed captioning. Why do I say this? Well, there was an interview that I saw talking about the Tiger Cats starting safety, Stavros Katsantonis. Sorry, I always struggle on your name, bro. Anyway, closed captioning identified it as Starvus, Cats, and Tuna. I'm thinking we may not need to worry about losing our jobs to AI just quite yet. Okay. Anyway, that's mostly what I got. Maybe a sextet of rapid-fire quick closers, just, quick things. Caleb Evans needs to be a starting quarterback in this league. Someone's got to give him a job. Man, he's every year better and better. Just someone please take him aside and remind him it's the Guardian caps, not the helmets, that are optional. Kosi Onyeka. After the game last Saturday, Riders Elks, I'm hoping Kosi went directly from the stadium to the lotto kiosk and bought himself a whole bunch of tickets. Because let me tell you, his luck was on a roll. Kicks, field goals particularly. The kickers are getting so bloody good here, south of the border, everything. Question for you. Talk amongst yourselves. When are we going to see the first 70-yard field goal? Where, when, who kicks it? I think it could be within the next couple of years. End of the decade for sure. That's just getting that good. Mason Fine won't be the short yardage specialist for the Riders. Calgary's going to have themselves a really tough decision to make at quarterback. Because they got two guys on the top of the depth chart that are basically 2A and 2B. And this last one, I got to test this line on the Riders phone-in post-game show, and they've got a chuckle, so I'll use it to close with. We were told that Coach Jones with the Eskimos was going to play his starters for the first half because they wanted to send a message. And I would just like to say to Coach Jones, thank you, message received. You're a very generous team. All right, that's probably just about it. My first kick at the can at this whole, whatever it's called, YouTube cast or whatever. If you liked it, please do the stuff. Like, subscribe, whatever, share. You know better than me. Seriously, I play at being well, not a Luddite, because I think Luddites are a little too fast to accept change. But I play at being the old man. I do know a bit about this stuff, but I'm really not big on how to make this stuff grow. So if you're enjoying this, if you got a kick out of it, if you chuckled a little bit, please do what you can to push some, toss some views my way. Very much appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with me about what I've said, it ain't easy. Like I said, I don't do the social media things. So you can, if you still remember email, you can email me at oldman, one word, dot, shouting at clouds, one word, at shaw.ca. If you feel like giving me some feedback, some response, let me know if you're enjoying this stuff. Be happy to hear from you. But I don't know that I really need to. This is mostly, like I said, just thoughts that don't seem to be out there. I'm putting them out there. Talk about them amongst yourselves on your snappy grams and Exy chats and whatever those things all are. And see what you think about it. For me, I'm just happy to be doing this. I'm happy the CFL is back, and I'm ready to embrace the chaos. So that's it. Till next week, get the hell off my lawn.